All right, so 5 reasons you must curate customer data. That is our topic today, and this is Kabila Community, focused on consumer goods entrepreneurs in the African context. And this month we're focusing the themes on customer data. Tomorrow we're going to have the Kabila Community Workshops, which is also focused on practical demonstrations on how to collect and curate customer data with tools that are already available to us. Anyone who has attended a previous workshop will know that when we come into those sessions, you just have to be mentally active in order to get the best benefit. So I'm going to talk about 5 reasons you must curate customer data. The way these sessions work is that when you come into the session, we spend about 20 to 30 minutes on the subject of conversation. And thank you, most welcome, Kelvin. We spend about 20 to 30 minutes on the subject of conversation, and then we allow people to come onto the podium to speak, to share their views, and to kind of connect the theory with the practice in their own individual business. And before I go ahead, let me ask you, please introduce yourself in the comments, say who you are, what you do a short pitch. The reason you do that is so if you make it a practice, over time, people get to know you more and people get to be interested in what you're doing, because people who listen to this after the fact or after the session are able also to see the chart, if I'm not mistaken. So do introduce yourself, do share what you do. You can have one template for that, which you always paste when you walk into rooms like this. So 5 reasons you must curate customer data. Number 1 is customer relationships. Business is built on relationships, and this is particularly important for small businesses. If I'm interacting with Amazon, Facebook, and co., there is something they call customer relationships. Yes, but it is more intimate when I am trying to do business with you whom I know face to face. You are in my neighborhood, or I'm doing something for you that I have to do myself. I don't have 10,000 staff to send to represent me. I am doing it myself. I am an MC. I have to talk to you myself about my business. I make cakes. I have to talk to you, get your order, and present it to you in the way that you like it. I make clothes. I have to take your measurements. So there's that personal touch. There's that personal interaction, that close-knit relationship that is associated with doing small business, if you would like to call it that, doing a startup, starting at a certain level. So business of that nature is heavily dependent on relationship. That is one powerful reason why you must curate customer data. Some of you may have seen this word and say, what is this all about? What is curate? Curate is derived from the world of art. If somebody is working in a museum, what he will typically do is go around or find ways of contacting people who have artifacts that he will pick, organize them properly, label them, put them in the nice shelf so that he will give value to those people who are coming to the museum. So we borrowed that word into the world of business, into my world, so to speak, and saying when we talk about curating customer data, we're talking about collecting that data, organizing it properly, being able to refer to it at a later time. And when we talk about customer data, we're talking about everything that helps you identify the customer and easily provide service to the customer. Let me give you a typical scenario. Now, every time somebody, you have put your phone number out there and say, okay, if you need artwork, call me. If you need clothes, call me. If you need to host an event, call me. If you need a personal VA, call me. And people have been calling you all this while, calling you all this while. Can you tell me that if I tell you today, somebody called you 2 weeks ago, can you give him a call back and ask him how he's doing? Tell him that you have a new product, or wish him happy birthday, you don't have that information about him. Because the moment you finish the call, because he did not do business with you at that time, you feel that you don't need to find a way to retain that number. You say, oh, this is one of those cold callers. This is one of those, in quote, unserious people. That's the attitude you may have towards that person. He just called. He doesn't want anything. Oh, let me just leave the number. But you don't remember. You don't realize that you can call that person 1 month later and ask him, how are you doing? Do you need something this month? I have this to offer. If you have not been collecting that data, storing it in a certain organized fashion, you won't be able to follow up. You won't be able to build a relationship with that potential client to the point where he now gives in and says, okay, let me patronize you. Remember when we talked about, I think it was 4 reasons why people patronize you. With one of the things we talked about was sometimes people patronize you because you bother them. It is a living reality. It is a reality that sometimes you have to bother people, call them over and over for them to now appreciate the fact, okay, I have heard from this person enough. Let me give them a chance. So building relationships, having customer data is critical to building customer relationships. That's number 1. Number 2, you can tailor your offer to people you know. When I say know, I'm saying that you know something about their context for you to be able to sell them something that they are most likely to buy. If you know that this person is a mother, maybe the first time they called you, they wanted something for their child. You've realized it's a mother. They have 3 children and they've bought one for one child. Because you know they're a mother of 3, you know that there is potential that they can buy additional items from you at a later time. So it's important that you have their contact details to call them back. It is also important that you have that knowledge about them, that he or she is a mother, right? So that begins to paint a bigger picture of what I mean by customer data. I'm not just talking about contact details. I'm also talking about data about the customer that you need in order to serve them. If you're a tailor, for example, you definitely need the measurements of your potential clients and clients. How do you collect that today? I keep giving advice to tailors that, look, today, when you want to collect that, you tell them, come to my shop. Then they start doing the measurement. You measure only what they need for that dress today. You write it in a book. The next time you're looking for it, you're flipping through 50 pages in order to find their name. But I said, look, Google Forms is a good way to capture that data. Google Forms is available on your phone. You capture that data and you can search for that name. You can measure everything about the person the first time you have contact with them. When they call you from Kafanchan and say, oh, I want a shirt, you have their measurements for a shirt. When they call you from Kovoridua and say, I need a pair of trousers, you already have the measurements because you took the time to collect that data necessary for you to serve them. You can tailor your offer if you know enough about your customer. You can break down your customer, your broad range of customers into the segments that are necessary for you to provide service. Maybe the day that they called you, they were calling you about a cake that has four layers, and they want to do a birthday for a senator, right? But all this while, all your cakes have been for your fellow schoolmates, people that are in your neighborhood. So they just do one. So you don't have the facilities for 4-tier cake that is for senators. Then you begin to classify, okay, I think senators need this kind of cake. Classification 1, senators who need my cake. Classification 2, neighbors who need my cake. And the next time you want to sell a cake that has 4 tiers for senators, you know which senators to call, because you have taken the time to segment your to know your customer enough to be able to segment them and tailor your offer, your product towards those customers. Number 3, you increase convenience by maintaining records, right? you let your customer know that you know them, and you reduce the stress they have to go through in order to consume your services when you maintain certain critical records about them. I will give you an example. I gave this example during the last year's Kabila Community Workshops when we were talking about customer experience, common sense customer experience. There was one of the days I was coming back with my wife from out of town back into Accra, and it was a Saturday morning. We wanted to have pizza, so I made a call. I think it was Cheesy Pizza or Eddie's Pizza. I made a call and they responded to me and said, "Hello, good morning, sir." And during the conversation, I said, "Okay, I want I think it was Supreme or Standard something. Yeah, meat lovers. And when I finished the call, I began to think to myself, look, these people have a business line. On this business line, people call them day in, day out. People call them on this business line. I have called on this business line no less than 5 times. How come they don't know my name?" And I said to myself, look, it is so simple, that if you get a call from a customer, you save the number on your business line the first time he calls, so that the next time they call, you will not say, "Hello, sir, what do you want?" You say, "Hello, Kenneth, good to hear from you again. It's been a while that we heard from you." You make the connection. You tell them that they are important enough to get into your phone book, and this time your phone book is on Google. It's not on your phone because your phone has limited storage for numbers. So you tell them that, look, I found you important enough to put you in my phone book, in my online phone book. So you respond to them by mentioning their name, by telling them that you miss them, so to speak. They have not called in a long while, right? You want them to call more often, right? And you can even tell them, "Oh, Mr. Kenneth, do you want the usual, or do you want pizza? What do you call it? Do you want meat lovers again today?" That way, they are aware that your typical order is XXX, because you have taken the time to collect that record, and it is so simple. You increase their convenience. So if you're able to tell me, "Oh, Mr. Kenneth, great of you to call. I'm happy to hear from you today. It's been quite a while. How did you enjoy your last meat lover? Would you like to order another one?" All I now have to say is yes. I don't have to explain the story. "Oh, I want meat lovers large, this and that. Would you like meat lovers again for your family?" Then she knows exactly that what you want. She has communicated to you that, "I know you. I know what you like. I know what you want. I know that this is for your family." Makes sense. "Will you like us to deliver it at XXX, or will you come to pick it?" Because you've also collected location information during the last delivery. You recorded it that this person lives in this place. It's so simple. Increase convenience of your customer by collecting customer data. Number 4, cross-sell and upsell. Cross-sell and upsell. What does that mean? Cross-sell means as a business person, I do many things. Maybe I sew clothing for men, for women, right? Maybe as one who makes cakes, I also make chin-chin. For those of you who are Nigerians, chin-chin, they call it chips in Ghana. Chin-chin and meat pie. Today, the person called and says, "I want a birthday cake." You made a birthday cake for them, and the next time you have made a new batch of meat pie, then you call them back and say, "I hope you realize I also make meat pie. Would you like me to make some for your next event?" What is that? That is cross-selling. You have sold a particular product to them, and you want to sell a different product. The reason why you can offer them that different product is not because they asked at that time. It's because you have their contact details. You probably know their birthday. You have picked up their birthday, so that the next time it's their birthday next year, you call them ahead of time and tell them, Would you like a birthday cake? I can also help you organize your birthday this year. Why can you do that? Because you are taking the time to collect the phone number, the birthday date, location, and all other details necessary for you to deliver that service. So you can cross-sell. You can sell a different product that you did not sell to them before. You can upsell. Today, they bought 5 rolls of clothing. The next time they are calling you, you realize, this person has gotten a promotion. I am going to now offer him that I will bring your clothing to your house every month. I just make 5 danchikis for you every month and bring it, because you realize you have enough information about them to know that they have upgraded their lifestyle. So you say, okay, this is my customer, I know him, he has upgraded, he's been promoted. I'll do a special package for him. Every month I'll give him 3 sets of clothing. I know he can pay, he'll pay me. So you're upselling, you're increasing the volume of that customer's consumption of your services, of your product, because you have information about who they are, what they like, where they are, and what their current status is. So that is reason number 4, where you can, why you should curate customer data. Number 5, you bring value to partnerships. Let's assume that you are an MC, an event MC. You have 2 or 3 friends who are doing other things in that industry. One is an event planner, another is a caterer, another is a wedding dress salesperson, and you collaborate together and say, okay, I'm collecting customer information. Another is maybe you even have somebody who is selling Pampers. So you are collecting data of your clients. You're doing wedding MC. Each person you do the MC for, you know them. You have the name, you have the contact, you have the address, because of course you probably escorted them to their new home. You have the address, you have the date of their wedding, the anniversary date. So every year you call them, you wish them happy anniversary. 9 months from the day that you did that wedding MC, you call them and wish them congratulations on their new baby, assuming that has happened. And then if that is the case, you call your friend who is a diaper seller, and you say, I have somebody whom I need diapers for you. Can I connect you? If I connect you, can I have 10% or 5% for the connection? Because you have data about the people that are getting married, who will definitely have children who will definitely poo-poo and wee-wee, pardon the French, who will need those Pampers, right? Pampers are for pee and wee, right? So you know that because you have taken the time to collect sufficient data about your customers, and you can partner with other service providers to deliver alternative service to them, either for cash or kind, which means it's not always the case that you'll be able to make a deal about commissions. Sometimes it may just be an issue of an understanding of reciprocity, which means today I brought you one of my clients that has given birth for you to sell Pampers to them. Next time when you see somebody that is about to get married, bring them to me, etc. So you bring value with partnership with customer data. So I have given you 5 reasons to curate customer data, and I said that to curate means to properly manage, to label, to put together nicely in such a way that you can refer to it later. Now, I said 1, building customer relationships. 2, being able to tailor your offer and segment your customer base. 3, being able to increase the convenience of your customer in interacting with you and purchasing your products. 4, being able to cross-sell and upsell. 5, being able to bring value to partnerships. Now, tomorrow we're going to demonstrate this practically in the Kabila community workshops with tools you are already familiar with and some that may be new to you. Demonstrate. So those who have registered, congratulations. You're going to see it live Be there early, be fully alert mentally. And if you have a computer, it's better use a computer so that you can follow the demonstration and possibly try out while we are on the call. The call will be recorded. Those who are paid will get the recording and so forth. Now, let me stretch this conversation a little bit before I let us come to the podium. You may want to ask, how do I know what data to collect? What data am I collect? Is it just a phone number and email address? Is it just a location and all that? If you have listened carefully to the examples I've given, you realize that this is dependent on your area. And if you have done an interactive ideation session, you will notice that most of the time I try to tailor my strategic advice to your area of operations, and I tell you how to apply some of these things specific to your area. If you do a pack, we can do something like that at a minimal level as well. But the point is that for each person, each business person, you must understand your business enough to know what data do I need from the customer in order to be the best service to them. If you're a tailor, you know that you will collect the person's name, address for delivery, phone number. You know that you may also want to collect the person's all the person's measurements so that you can at any time give them service, right? If you are a caterer, for example, you may want to collect person's details. You may also want to collect person's birthday, anniversary, children's anniversary. Why? Because you want to call them ahead of time before they look for another person and tell them, are you celebrating your son's? In fact, you name the son. Are you celebrating Kelechi's birthday in a week's time? I can help you handle it. That way you are ahead of the game, ahead of the competition. And let me tell you something that you need to know as a business person. People will always forget you. Why do you think Coca-Cola advertises every day? People forget. People will always forget. So in order for you to remind them of yourself, you need to have a way of contacting them. You need to know what they need per time. And that is all it is about collecting customer data, curating customer data, organizing it properly, not just letting every phone call go, not just letting the information they are giving you go. Somebody tells you, oh, my mother really enjoyed that cake that you gave us. She's diabetic, but because you don't use too much sugar, she can eat it and be okay. That's information they are giving you. She has a diabetic mother, right? That now you now craft another product for that is cake for diabetics. You now partner with somebody else who is selling supplements for diabetics and say, look, I'm delivering this cake to this person. I can send your supplements as well. How much are you paying? etc. So I want you to just paint the picture clearly in your mind and start asking yourself, how can I begin doing this? What data do I need to collect from my customers? How am I going to use it to generate income for my business? What tools am I going to use to make sure I am properly organizing this data so that it is useful to me? Now, I'm going to invite everyone to the podium. If you have a question, a contribution, a way in which this makes sense to you, I want you to share that. We're going to close shortly because we also have a program tomorrow. We have to also prepare for that. But I just wanted to give feedback on this. I'll start as usual from Elizabeth while I call others. So Elizabeth, what's your initial thoughts? Right. I hope you can still hear me. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, hello everyone. Hello, Sal. Thank you so much, Mr. Kenneth, for a great session. And hello everyone. I can see Zoe, I can see Florence, Grace, Kelvin, and which was there again? Okay, let me see. And Tandy. Yeah, so welcome everyone once more. Yes, so as Mr. Kenneth has been saying so far, customer data and how that's very, very important. And you said something about where you were ordering pizza and the fact that they didn't have your number. So so I think it's something that even big companies need to also look into. Even as much as we are learning this, it's also very, very important that yes, that big companies do this, and then we too can be able to implement, because definitely small brands are going to become big brands, later. Yes. So, sir, I just want to say thank you, and I want to give the room for every other person to share their thoughts.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. Awesome. And I've just sent out an invite. If you'd like to speak, no pressure intended. If you'd like to speak, you can come up. And I will always say, when you are given the opportunity to speak, try to make use of it. You're an entrepreneur. You can't be quiet. Try to speak and use the opportunity to let people know what stuff you are made of when you make your contribution. It's very important. So I think I've invited everyone. So if you would like to speak, just accept the invite, share your thoughts in terms of a question you have, a contribution you have, a way you have seen that this topic aligns with your own scenario, and something that you want to share that others may also benefit from. I'm just going to give 1 or 2 minutes space for that. If there's no one who is coming up, we'll just close the call and then get ready for the KCW tomorrow. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to just mention again, this is Kabila Community, a community of emerging African entrepreneurs in the consumer goods space. We're focused on driving and supporting locally made products from Africa, and we are here to share knowledge, to network. So feel free to join our WhatsApp group as well if you're not already there. And I also want to mention tomorrow, Kabila Community Workshops. These are rare experiences. So those of you who have signed up to be there, you'll be able to share that experience with others tomorrow. 3 p.m. GMT. If you're in Nigeria, that's 4 p.m. Just in case you didn't know. If you're in Kenya, that is what? I believe that is 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. All right, so nobody is coming up to share. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. I trust it has been useful. Okay, Zoe just came up. Do you want to share something before we close out? Question? Zoe, the lady with the mic and the pen, your Christ-centered MC. Zoe, are you there?
Yes, please, I am.
Okay.
Good evening, Kabila. Good evening, Africa. In Toastmasters, we say that feedback is the breakfast of champions. It's usually said that feedback is the breakfast of champions, but in Toastmasters, we like to say it's the breakfast, the lunch, and the dinner of champions. And now that I'm thinking about it, after events, when I send my feedback forms to clients and they tell me their honest opinions, how it becomes breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me is what I have just heard Coach Kenneth say, which is that from those feedbacks, from those details, I am going to be feeding and getting nourishment to further make my business robust. I'm going to be knowing about more things that I can implement in my execution. I'm also going to be having more light bulb experiences. So I think that what I'm going away with today is feedback truly is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Why? We eat for nourishment. We eat for strength. Somewhere in the Holy Scripture, it is said to a man, eat for the journey is far. So we eat because the journey is far. Today, like Elizabeth said, we are a small people, we are a small brand, but watch out, Africa, we are coming. We are a great brand. Thank you very much once again, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Zoe. Thank you for that feedback. And I mean, impressive, like that you said that you have taken the first step, which is you are actually collecting that customer data. You're collecting feedback, maybe with a form or something. And then one of the things you want to review always is, am I collecting enough data or too much? Of course, when you do too much, the person completing the form feels overwhelmed. When you do too few, then it's not as useful as it should be. So you always, that balance, you strike that delicate balance, and then you ask yourself next, what am I going to do with this thing that I've collected, this detail that I've collected from the customer? And that is where the breakfast, lunch, and dinner you mentioned comes in. Thank you so much for that thought. All right, I appreciate everyone who has attended. Excuse me. Tonight we're close. I see you. Grace, I see you. And we've just gotten a few words of feedback from Elizabeth and Zoe. Tomorrow, Kabila community workshops. And if there are any further questions, we can just bring them over to the WhatsApp group. Great week ahead, and hopefully see most of us tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening.